Tonight, a man dead following another hit and run in Port Augusta, and a 16-year-old boy farewelled by distraught family and friends in Port Lincoln.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. A 29-year-old man is dead following another hit-and-run incident in Port Augusta. Authorities were called to a residential street in the early hours of this morning after reports of a man's body on the road. Police are still searching for the driver of the vehicle involved.
Police have swarmed the scene here in Port Augusta trying to determine the circumstances of this tragic incident. They were called here to Rogers Street at around 3 this morning following reports of a man's body on the road. The driver remains on the run and police are still attempting to gather whatever information they can, calling for the driver of the vehicle involved to come forward. The victim confirmed as a 29-year-old man from Nullarbor Plains.
CPR was provided as well as first aid and ambulance care, but unfortunately the pedestrian died at the scene. And we're undertaking an investigation to determine the circumstances of his death.
Major crash investigators arriving from Adelaide collecting evidence.
Been provided some CCTV vision that we'll be following up, and again our major crash and detectives will be following up lines of inquiries that emanate from those.
The incident highly distressing for locals, with this normally quiet residential street cornered off as a crime scene. This incident, the second of its kind in just a week in the country town.
The loss of life, just one individual, is devastating and has ramifications throughout the entire region. But on this occasion, when we have a number of deaths in such a short period of time, and they're deaths that shouldn't have happened.
When I got the notification this morning, I was in shock and disbelief, so I'm sure our community is also. And my condolences on behalf of Port Augusta Council go out to all concerned again.
Road closures in place for much of the day, with diversions for all traffic as authorities conducted their investigations. As always, police urge anyone with any information to come forward or contact Crime Stoppers. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Meanwhile, the man accused of killing 2 people in a hit-and-run incident in Port Augusta a week ago has been granted home detention by the magistrate. Police allege 39-year-old Matthew Thomas is responsible for the deaths of Dickie Press and Naomi Braden, who had been out celebrating Valentine's Day. Families of both the accused and the victims were at today's hearing, packing out the Port Augusta Magistrates courtroom. The victims' family are angered by the result.
How's the past week been for you?
Very happy that I believe that the right decision has been made, and only the bail should have been granted, and that's what the magistrate did.
The matter was appealed by the prosecution, and Mr Thomas will remain in custody until Monday, when a decision will be made by the Supreme Court. Family and friends in Port Lincoln have farewelled 16-year-old Patrick Ryan at a funeral held in the town. Tributes for the popular student have flooded social media accounts online. Port Lincoln High School ran a modified program this afternoon to allow teachers and students to attend the service. Youth Services say it's important during this difficult time to remember the person Patrick was.
When these tragic circumstances happen around the loss of young people's lives, that we remember who those young people are, who they were and the impact they had in our community, not the situation and circumstances surrounding their passing.
The Boston South Football Club held a private wake following the funeral. South Australia no longer has the worst unemployment rate in the nation, according to new data released by the state government. Port Peary's Uni Hub is expecting an upwards trend for the regions, with multiple projects underway.
It's the news we've been waiting for. South Australia's unemployment rate's dropping to 5.7%, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics.
The latest employment figures are really good news for South Australia as a state, but look, it does certainly reflect what we've already been seeing in the Upper Spencer Gulf for some time now.
Money that we've been investing in skills training here in South Australia is starting to pay dividends. Unemployment for young people decreasing from January last year to January this year.
Multi-large-scale projects are underway across the region. UniHub CEO says more residents feel confident to take on studying or skills training with the security of gaining employment.
The big challenge for the Upper Spencer Gulf and many regional areas, in fact, is how we now grow our workforce to accommodate that. So UniHub plays a really key role, particularly in the skilled workforce space.
Saying learning something new isn't just for school leavers.
But we also have people as young as 71 enrolling with us in a social work degree, someone who's wanting to continue her career.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, the clean-up from Port Lincoln's flash flood continues and we meet the new superintendent in Broken Hill. Welcome back. Port Lincoln's beach clean-up effort has begun following the town's flash flooding last month. Locals say it's a welcome sight with contaminated sand being carted away to landfill.
Port Lincoln's picturesque beach turned into a construction site as the recovery effort continues from last month's flash flood.
And all the gravel and bark chips and everything from, up in the hills down the main Flinders Highway and New West Road, all just washed down and all washed out to the beach.
The town's stormwater mitigation system pumped more than 350 megalitres of water out onto the foreshore.
It looked disgusting actually. It wasn't very pretty.
It was feared the town's popular beach would be contaminated with high E. coli levels. The City Council forced to cordon off sections of the strip as a precautionary measure.
Where all the rain came down, it just washed all the sand out and it was all channels and dirty and dangerous. We had flags up all around to warn people and it wasn't a good look at all.
And it was all black and not very attractive.
After consultation with authorities and the local Indigenous community, Council called in the troops to start rehabilitating the beach. An excavator and grader collected the contaminated sand, which was then trucked away to landfill.
It's going to be used as top cover for some of our landfill in our resources areas. We've got authority from the EPA and Coastal Protection to be able to go through and keep doing that sort of thing with the removal of the landfill.
Previously, the council was looking at carting in new sand from nearby beaches, but has since chosen to evenly distribute the existing sand across the beach instead.
There's obvious sand drift from the north to the south on our beach here, so what we're doing is just repositioning what we've got.
It looks excellent. Actually, they're only probably halfway through it, but it looks excellent already.
It's hoped work will be complete by Monday in time for the Lincoln Week Regatta. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Augusta's old fire station has had a major facelift, with these students helping to create a mural as part of the Desert Fringe Festival. Organisers say there's a deeper meaning behind the workshop.
It's about facilitating intercultural understanding, it's about unity, and it's about working together. So, no matter where you come from, no matter what background, we walk together.
The festival will be continuing in Port Augusta over the weekend. More information can be found on the Adelaide Fringe Festival website. The Barrier Police District has welcomed its new area commander this week. Based in Broken Hill, the superintendent says he's happy to be back working in the far west.
Walking the streets, getting to know the region he's looking after.
The great work that goes on from police all across the region, and especially the police here in those smaller communities and remote communities, it's just outstanding, and it's a pleasure to be here and leading those police.
Superintendent Andrew Splight started his tenure as commander of the Barrier PD this week. Today he was in Broken Hill meeting with the community and local officers.
My vehicle will be pretty much my mobile office, but I plan to get out into some of the more remote places and into those communities with the police that are there. They're already doing excellent work. work in those communities just to support them the best that I can.
The superintendent is no stranger to the Far West area, having been stationed in the region twice previously.
Back in 1998, I was a constable at Ivanhoe, and then 2009 I was a detective sergeant down at Yacht, and so I'm fairly well acquainted for this area.
His colleagues providing a warm welcome and an easy transition into the role.
Absolutely, it's great to have him on board, and I think from his history he was previously at Ivanhoe and also at Yacht, and so he does know the outback area.
Superintendent Splight says he looks forward to working with the community during his time in the top job. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. Coming up after the break, tennis players head across the border for a tournament and Port Peary students learn the art of boxing. Hello again. A team of Broken Hill's top tennis players are tonight preparing to represent the city in a regional tournament held this weekend. While some players will be used to competition, for a few it's their first time making the trip.
A tennis team flying the flag of the Silver City.
The competition down there is good and, you meet different people. It's a really good event.
Starting tomorrow, this group of Broken Hill tennis players will take part in the Redcliffe's Lawn Tennis Tournament, just across the border in Victoria. The squad will play across a number of grades in both the singles and doubles events. Among the local players going down, two-time Broken Hill Open single champion Ross Casey. After falling just short of a final berth in last year's championship singles, he's looking to go one better in 2020.
I had a great tournament last year. It was my first time down there, so really enjoyed playing there on the grass, and it was a good crew from Broken Hill that went down.
While Ross prepares for his second appearance at Redcliffe's, for veteran Peter Clark it's his first time, putting his name down for the Saturday doubles.
Well, the boys are saying, it's about time you came down. I thought I better not leave it too much longer. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, to get with all the blokes and check them out down there and see their standard of tennis and all the rest of the show. It'd be great.
The side will need to quickly climatise to the different playing surface, going from a slow synthetic home turf to the fast-moving inconsistent grass can catch many off guard.
Yeah, stayed a bit lower down there. Didn't mind that though. Enjoyed the change of surface, enjoyed getting into the net a bit more than up here. The ball doesn't get up quite as much, so there's a few more chances to sneak forward.
Also in the side are local A-graders Nathan Crabb, Tim O'Neill, Andrew Malloy, Shane Keegle and Bregan So. For Bregan, it'll also be his first time playing in the tournament. He hasn't played on grass for 7 years.
I think it's faster, isn't it? Yeah, and I think we should put in a few more slices and stuff. But yeah, so it'll be interesting how my game stacks up because I usually play a bit more top spin. So hopefully it has an advantage, I don't know.
Good luck to all the players going down. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The 70th annual Adelaide to Lincoln yacht race has kicked off in Adelaide's Outer Harbour this afternoon with more than 40 yachts competing. Last year's winner Ichiban has returned to defend her title, but all eyes will be on newcomer Chinese Whisper. Strong winds expected later tonight. Our hope to see a record-breaking race. The first ship is expected to arrive in Port Lincoln just after 2 a.m. Port Peary students are swapping pens for boxing gloves through a fitness program. The classes held at John Peary, part of a bid to keep students active while learning self-defence.
A knockout of a class.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
Not your average school day for these John Peary students.
Skipping at the start, and then we learn how to throw a couple punches and then put the gloves on and partner work.
It was mainly aimed at fitness to build up body strength and self-confidence.
The class mastering different boxing techniques, encouraging fitness, not fighting.
A good way for kids to have a bit of a break during the day and go back to learning a bit refreshed. Everybody knows the stuff about oxygenation and getting air and blood flowing.
Students learning self-discipline and strength while working in teams.
Well, I'm not teaching them to fight. I'm teaching them to have some fun and have respect and channel their anger or whatever they've got inside of them in the right way.
This local trainer is a familiar face who operates a professional boxing gym. Luckily for these students, he offers modified classes.
It's different to what we do here. We break it up. I train people for just fitness and I train people for fighting as well.
No complaints from this group, who say it's a great way to keep fit.
Even having one of those bad days and then you punching at something like just lets it out.
Yeah, sometimes you get a bit frustrated if you get something wrong or something like that, so nice to get the steam out of your body.
The principal encouraging other schools to follow suit.
It's been a really successful program, so we have good numbers. We've gone from 1 program to 2 programs this year. We're very excited where it's going.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. Coming up after the break, we'll have this week's cricket tips and the weather with Britt.
Hello and welcome to round 17 of Port Peary Cricket. This round starts with Props taking on Wandera at Memorial Oval from 10:30. Wandera sitting nicely at the top of the ladder, 10 points clear of second. Props are locked in at 4th and will play finals this season. Props are yet to beat a team above them, with their 4 wins this season all coming against Southport. I'm tipping Wandera. At Port Oval, it's Port Germain who face Southport from 12:30. Port Germain find themselves in 2nd spot in their debut season in A-grade cricket. With Solly North having the bye this weekend, a big win to Port Germain will see them sew up 2nd spot. Southport continue to struggle for runs, but to their credit continue to play their youngsters. I'm tipping Port Germain.
Welcome to this week's Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. An interesting round of cricket coming up with everyone playing their neighbour on the ladder. Out at Dorwood Oval is Todd River and Lincoln South. Both teams now out of finals contention. Going to tip Todd River to get over the line in this one. Charlton and Waybacks battle it out here with a chance to still play for 2nd spot. Think Charlton will get over the line in this, but only just. And in the final game at Ravendale, top 2, Tasmans versus Southern Air. This will be a crackerjack game of cricket. They've had some really good battles over the last couple of years. Going to tip Tasmans to get over the line in another close game. Thanks for listening to the Port Lincoln Cricket Tips.
Final minor round of cricket in Broken Hill this weekend, and 2 classic games to come up. On Saturday, we see West take on Central. Central 1 point in front of North, so Central obviously need to win this game to be minor premiers, depending on bonus points again, because bonus points are in play as well. I think Central shouldn't have any problems with defeating West. West have struggled a little bit this year, and getting towards the end of the season are struggling for runs. In the game on Sunday, South take on North. North needing to probably get maximum bonus points to get minor premiers, but there is a rumour that some of the key players may be missing this weekend. If that's the case, it's not beyond South in causing an upset. So this will be a very intriguing game and a very intriguing round of cricket to finish the minor season.
Hello and welcome to round 11 of the Whyalla Cricket Association. The first game of the round sees Rupina take on South Whyalla. I see Rupina taking this one pretty easily, with Nick Johns Jr., his medium pace is proving the difference. In the second game of the round, sees Central Whyalla take on North Whyalla. Should be a tight contest, but I'm tipping the top of the table Central Whyalla to take this one.
Now for a look at your weekend weather, here's Britt Aylin.
Good evening. 30 degrees was the high today at Broken Hill. Port Augusta and Port Peary both recorded 28 degrees. Whyalla 25, Port Lincoln 22. Here's a look at today's clouds with a high pressure system centred south of the Bight. Now let's move on to tomorrow, starting with the Gulf waters. Southeasterly winds at 15 to 20 knots, seas sitting around half a metre. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 6 minutes to 7 with sunset just after 8 p.m. Sunny conditions on the forecast, apart from a little cloud cover about the lower Eyre Peninsula. Port Augusta, Woodner and Corn all with expected tops of 32 degrees tomorrow. Broken Hill, Port Peary and Kadina all 30, Whyalla 29, Clare 28, Coffin Bay and Cleve both 27, Port Lincoln with a top of 24 degrees. Looking ahead into Sunday and into next week, a partly cloudy forecast for Port Lincoln with a top of 27 on Sunday, 26 Monday and Tuesday. Cleve and Woodner both sunny on Sunday, maximums in the mid-30s, ahead of a partly cloudy start to the new week. Whyalla, Port Augusta and Kadina all looking warm and sunny on Sunday, similar temperatures with a bit of cloud cover on Monday and sunny again on Tuesday. Much the same at Port Peary, Clare and Broken Hill, sunny and mid-30s on Sunday, still warm on Monday but looking partly cloudy, sunny again on Tuesday. And Louise, that's the weekend weather.
Looking lovely. Thank you for that, Britt. And that's your local news this week. Thank you for joining us. We'll have updates later, but until then, have a lovely and safe evening. Good night.